Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be on this look here, obviously. I really like the way it turned out. I wanted to just do something today. Like I just felt so artistic today and like I wanted to do something really like cool and fun and be like a cool kid. So this is the look I came up with. I also want to do something round. I feel like I say that, I've said that before, where, you know, my eyeshadow looks always very winged out. And so I really wanted to push myself to not wing out my eyeshadow today. I didn't wing out my eyeliner. I don't have lashes on that are super winged out. They're kind of more round. And my eyeshadow stayed, for the most part, I think, pretty rounded out. So that is what I was going for today. Fun, round. That was kind of it. And I was just sort of playing with things. I pulled out today my Morphe 39S palette because I feel like I bought this. And then right around the time I bought this is when I left Morphe because we moved across the country. And I haven't used it since then because obviously at home in the middle of nowhere, I don't need to wear purple eyeshadow. But I wanted to wear some purpley-ish eyeshadow today. I was actually like focusing more on this side of like the raspberry type things. The look still turned out really kind of purpley pink though, so what can you do? But I really like it, so I hope you guys like it too. You know, 2 videos ago I did a really natural look, and the last video was not necessarily super natural, but like more natural like color palette. So I was ready to do something really colorful today and fun. So I hope you enjoy it. Please subscribe if you are new, and if you like this video, you know, subscribe, why not? And then turn on post notifications so you never miss any of my latest videos. Also, one thing I wanna let you guys know is because this particular eye look was fairly intricate, I didn't talk through the tutorial part, or not the tutorial part, I didn't talk through the eyes part because I just felt like it would take 20 years knowing how much I talk, like I am right now, if I was going to actually talk through the, you know, eyeshadow. So I'm just gonna do a voiceover through the eyeshadow, but then for the rest of the face makeup and everything, I did kind of talk like I am now. So yeah, let's just get right into the look. To start off this look, I am priming my eyes with the ABH eye primer, and then I'm first dipping into the shade Plums Up, which is like the darkest plummy kind of shade in the palette. And using a Morphe M456, I'm going to pack this into my outer corner and then all the way across the crease. And I'm making sure that I'm not bringing that out too far and that I'm also not pulling it up too high. I'm keeping my eye open and kind of looking forward and sort of resting my eyebrow every once in a while just to make sure that that color is staying just in the crease and just a little bit above. Now I am dipping into the shade Wine Not with the same exact brush, and what I'm doing here is just starting to slightly blend out that first shade. So I'm doing very, very, very tiny little motions back and forth and in little circles with the same exact tiny little blending brush, and basically layering this shade right on the edge of the first shade to start to blend that out. But you want to make sure you keep your brush small and do very, very tiny circular motions to start the blending process. I'm then going to take a touch of the ABH loose powder in the shade Vanilla on a larger blending brush and just dab that right beneath the brow bone and lightly blend it down. And this is going to help the rest of our shades blend out by setting that base up there. I'm then dipping into the shade Berry Good, and I'm going to use this to further keep blending out. And again, I'm going to layer that over the edge of that last color we put on. And again, doing very tiny little blending motions. I'm gonna go all the way around. And I'm making sure to keep my motions very precise and not, you know, move my brush around too much or too fast to make sure that this look stays super blended but very precise at the same time. Next, I'm taking my final blending shade, which is the shade Pink Prize, and I'm using this on a little bit of a bigger crease brush, but it's still pretty small in comparison to ones I would usually use. This is the Morphe M505, and I layer that right across the edge of everything. And now I'm going back with the shade Wine Nut to kind of re-intensify that one and make sure everything is still super blended, but I still have a lot of depth right there in my crease. And then after that, I'm gonna go into the shade Rocks On, which is like a deep, almost black. It's like kind of like a really dark, dark, dark gray. It looks like it has some shimmer in the pan, but it doesn't really translate on the eye. And I'm just going to use that to deepen up a little bit. I layered that on top of our first shade, and then again, using little tiny small blending motions to make sure that's blended out. I'm now going to cut my crease, and I'm using the same ABH eye primer, and I'm using that on the Peaches and Cream brush number PC40, which is a very, very thin little flat brush. And I'm using that to create my cut crease. I'm making sure to keep this cut crease really, really round. And I'm going about 3/4 of the way across my crease with this cut crease. Before I put any of our shimmers on, I'm actually gonna set that base, and I'm using the same ABH loose powder. And this is just because I'm going to be, with this glitter I'm putting on top, I do still want some kind of color underneath, I guess, a very light wash of color. So I just wanna make sure that that stays light by setting it in place. And then I'm gonna go back in with Wine Not, followed by Berry Good, and then back into Plums Up. And those are just our crease shades, and I'm using those as I usually like to do. You guys know I do this a lot, where I'm basically using those to transition over from the outer corner into our light lid shade. That way there's not like a harsh stop from the light part of the lid into the outer corner. It's gonna fade really nicely right from the inner corner all the way into the outer corner. I'm next going to use the Peaches and Cream glitter base on that same flat brush, and basically putting a very nice like thin layer of this all over the area where I did my cut crease. And I'm using the same brush so I can get the same exact precision all the way up to the line, because you want to bring this glitter base all the way up to the line of the cut crease so that when you put the glitter on, the glitter also goes like right to the top and sticks really well. And then for my lid today, I'm gonna use this, which is so beautiful. It's the Peaches and Cream Pigment in the shade Pixie. And it's one of those that kind of looks white, but it'll reflect a different color. So it reflects like a really pretty baby pink. It is literally stunning. I love this so much. So I'm using the same exact brush again to apply this. And when I do this, I'm using the same brush because again, the brush is so precise. I want to get the same precision when applying this pigment. So that way, when the pigment goes like all the way up to that cut crease, it still looks really, really sharp. If you go in with a fluffier brush when you're putting on your lid color, you could take away from how like crisp the line is. So you do want to make sure you still use the same really thin brush to apply that. And then I dipped my finger into the shade Strike a Pose, which is one of those middle kind of bouncy, super glittery, shiny shades in the palette. And I used my finger to apply that in between Pixie and the outer corner. And then I went back with my brush and a little bit more Pixie and sort of layered that there in the center. And again, we're making sure we're getting that nice gradient all the way across. So for my liner, I use the NYX Matte Liquid Liner, and I just applied a pretty thin line on the inner corner and very gradually had it go a little thicker to the outer corner. But I am just kind of having it stop pretty suddenly there in the outer corner, because I'm gonna go back now with that almost black shade Rocks On, and I'm just using a little pencil brush to dab that right in the outer corner and make it so the liner goes from like obviously being that nice harsh line, and then as it gets to that outer corner, it's just gonna fade out into the eyeshadow. So I'm just dabbing that shadow right on the outer part of the liner and then dabbing it into the outer corner to make that liner sort of just disappear into our outer corner. So now I'm going to take the same shades I used on top in the crease and put them on the bottom, starting off with Plums Up and then going into Wine Not, also putting these shades in my waterline as kind of my waterline color, and then layering them up until I get the intensity I want. And then I'm also going to go into the shade Very Good on the Morphe M456, which is our smaller blending brush, to very lightly kind of buff out the bottom of the lower lash line because I want that to be pretty smoky and kind of flow right into the top part of the eye. I'm then going to add a little bit more of that glitter base to the inner corner and then add a little bit more of the shade Pixie to give a pop to our inner corner. And then I'm gonna go back into the shade Strike a Pose from the palette and apply that again with my finger just on the inner part of the lower lash line for a pop. I always use my finger to apply these shades because they just work better. So I'm popping on these lashes. I will have the number listed down below, and I'm using these in conjunction with my Maybelline Colossal Volume Mascara. And I'm putting that obviously top and bottom before I apply my lashes. To apply my lashes, I like to use the Dark Tone Duo Adhesive. It is my absolute favorite, most long wearing lash adhesive I've ever used, and using my MAC lash tweezers to apply those. I'm next filling in my brows with the Urban Decay Brow Blade, which I've used in my last couple videos, and I'm still absolutely obsessed with this pencil. It's amazing. And getting that really nice feathery look, and then we will move on to our face makeup. I kind of can't get over how much I like my eyes right now. Okay, so now let's move on to the complexion. I'm going to start off by using a primer actually today, just because I wanted to try this out. This is the e.l.f. Dew Primer, the Jelly Pop from that collection that recently came out from them. I've seen a lot of people talking about this being really good, and it got really good views online, so my local Ulta finally had some back and I said I'd give it a try. Oh my god, this is thick. It feels like honey. It smells so nice, but wow. I read that. I feel like it's not even blending out. This is not going well. It feels weird. I feel like I'm rubbing like honey or jelly or something on my face. I mean, it's from the Jelly Pop collection, but I didn't think it'd actually feel like fucking jelly. My face feels sticky. Ooh, we will see how this goes. So that is on. My face feels extremely sticky and kind of awful. So we will see if I end up liking that. It's really sticky. It smells so nice, but I don't know if I'm gonna be down with that texture. We'll see. So I'm gonna do my foundation. I'm gonna use my ABH foundation today. I'm using the Peaches PC26 to blend this in all over. Alright, so even though that primer was like extra sticky, it seems like the foundation still blended on top normally. So I'm going to go in with some concealer, and I'm using the JUVIA'S Place Concealer, which I've been using a lot lately. I really like this concealer a lot. So I'm just going to put that all down the center, under my eyes per the usual, and blend that in. And to blend that in, I'm going to use the Peaches PC06 brush. And then to set everything, I'm gonna go back in with the ABH loose powder in the shade Vanilla and focus that where the concealer is and blend it out from there as I usually do. All right guys, a little scenery change. My camera's looking like extra bright for some reason right now. I don't know what's going on. I think it's because I usually am centered to where this light is in the background. So I just moved over a little bit and I hope that that makes it look better. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and do some bronzer, and for that I'm gonna use the Marc Jacobs Tantastic bronzer. And I'm blending this in with another Peaches brush. This is the PC05. So for blush, I'm actually gonna go back into the eyeshadow palette and take the shade Pink Prize, which is like a really pretty matte light pink. And I'm gonna use that as blush. And then for highlight, I'm gonna go back in with PIXIE, which is the one we used on the lid. And I'm gonna use that as my highlight today, just for something kind of fun. So I'm gonna put this on a Morphe M501, and then I am going to spray it a little bit with some setting spray so that it goes on a little better. And because it's more like a glitter, I don't want it to look as piecey. I want it to look like an actual like highlight. And then just to bump that up a little bit, because why not? I'm gonna go into the palette and take one of those middle shades. It's called Here For It. And just layer that on top for an extra pop. Okay, my camera overheated, but for my lip, I used just one of my favorite like nude lip combos because I didn't want to, obviously with the intensity of the eye look, I didn't want to go too crazy. So I just used my NYX lip liner in the shade Nude Beige and then the MAC lipstick in the shade FLESHPOT to get like a really nice light nude color. Okay guys, so that is the finished look for today. Hope you liked it as always. Please subscribe if you are not subscribed yet, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.